actually have. A few years back in River Edge, unfortunately there was a double homicide in our town that happened one night. Fortunately, it's not a common occurrence. That was the first murder in our town since 1958. So in general, it's a safe community, but those kinds of things can and do happen sometimes.
In Tenafly, on a scale of 1 to 10 in violent crimes, how do you rate it? Tenafly is a 1. It's very low violent crime. Unfortunately, we did have a triple homicide going back a little over 10 years ago, and ironically, believe it or not, it involved Korean folks. And it was a real sad situation where an individual was in a business transaction with it was young men, and they fought, and the one man was killed, and he ended up killing that gentleman's mother and I think his uncle. It was a terrible, terrible situation. And then, but it was a great display of law enforcement technique and tactics to track this individual to California within a week and to catch him, actually gambling with no thought of what he did, and he had actually amassed $100,000 in gambling. And the nice thing about crime, when crime doesn't pay, well, guess what? We got to keep that $100,000 because it's called the forfeiture fund. So, but we both had them, but we don't have many of them. You live in a very, very safe area. Obviously, as the one gentleman had indicated here, that you're not going to totally eradicate or eliminate crime. We're always going to have some, but it's a very manageable level, and you live in a safe community with great services, and you have nothing to worry about. You just got to be a little watchful, but good question, but thankfully we don't have a lot here.
Jamie, actually in Saddlebrook, where I am from, about 5 years ago, we had a homicide. Individual was found deceased in a car, happened to be parked behind our Bennigan's, and was shot one time in the forehead. We actually investigated the crime with our county prosecutor's office, and an individual who we believe was the suspect, and still today is the suspect, was charged. We went to trial, and the suspect was found not guilty of murder. But there were some other circumstances that allowed us to charge other crimes which incarcerated individuals. So he's incarcerated for it, but I think the more of the question was, do homicides occur? And homicides occur. They occur in any town. It doesn't matter. And I'll give you 2 examples. Here in Bergen County, police officers were killed. A police officer was killed in the city of Hackensack while he was off duty doing a security watch. But more home to Tom and I are a young police officer who was on duty in the borough of Fair Lawn. Her name was Marianne Calora. Marianne Calora was a police officer in Fair Lawn. She actually went to the police academy with Tom and I. And in April of 2003, she was on duty, and Clifton Police was chasing a stolen car down Route 20, which exited the highway, and wound up in the streets of Fair Lawn. Finally ran up on a grass area and became disabled. Police officer Calora, our friend, our colleague, assisted the Clifton police officer who was in a struggle with this driver, and this driver, unbeknownst to them, had a weapon in his waistband, and in that conflict was able to shoot at both Officer Calora and the officer from Clifton. The officer Clifton was hurt seriously, but Officer Calora, unfortunately, is deceased because of those injuries. She was shot 3 or 4 times. She had her bulletproof vest on, but for whatever reason, those bullets entered her abdomen right below that vest. So I think the moral story here is that it's a dangerous world out there. For the most part, it's a safe environment, but at any time, anything, and even a police officer. But for the most part, we try and protect and serve as best we can, and we need our community members, their eyes and ears of our police force to report to us each and every time you feel there's something to tell us. So Jamie, that's a wonderful question, and I thank you very much for giving it to us. Thank you. Anybody else have any questions? Next door is her sister, Jennifer. Yeah, JJ, yeah. Okay,
So,
gentlemen.
what did you guys think of the terrorist attack that happened in Manchester recently? Like at the Orion concert.
She was asking how we felt about the recent terrorist attack. Yeah. It's sickening that it's happening again, and they're becoming all too frequent. And especially in this instance with the target, soft target that was picked specifically young girls, that were the primary concert goers. That was intentional, and it's very disheartening and upsetting. But despite the fact that the incident seemed to be escalating, um, the fight against it has to continue. There's no way to give in to that type of terrorist action because there can't be any surrender, there can't be any negotiation with this. So the war on it is going to continue, and hopefully the tide is going to return soon.
You know, here in the United States, they, high level, law enforcement, military people, they've been telling us that they're surprised this has not happened here, to us sooner. And, you know, as much as we would like to be up here to sugarcoat things, we can't. We're here to be honest with you folks. And they're saying that this is gonna start becoming more common. And, even in probably American venues. And, you know, it's how you react to these things, you learn from these things. And we all, when we travel on a plane, we travel on a plane differently than we used to travel years ago, right? We're basically now we're reacting to these threats. You're still gonna have, always gonna have these venues, these activities. You're just gonna find yourself going in there with very limited clothing. The safe zones are gonna be farther back. I mean, we still have to live. One thing that happened, you know, something in a lot of these places in Israel and these places that experience these things. What do they do the next day? They go right back out there. They go right back to the market, and they're not deterred. And it's very easy to say that and to do that, but there's more good people in life than there is bad. Will always prevail, but these things are going to continue to happen. It scares us. We have big, large events in our towns, and with our limited squads, and we're small police departments, we practice counterterrorism measures, and you know have undercover officers and tactics and techniques in place. We're on edge. You're there to enjoy yourself. We're not. We're there. We're trying to provide a safe environment. And but you know something that Chief Kugler said also too. And this goes for everything also too, folks. We do a good job of what we do, right? We have good people that go out and detect crime and address it. But the vast majority of things that we do, vast majority of successes that we have are from you. Is that the eyes and ears of the public, which is everyone out there with a cell phone and you know eyes to see something or hear something, calls us, gets us involved, and it is a partnership. And we, you know, I think one of you had said something, you know, maybe a little tentative with speaking to law enforcement because you know, the language barrier, you're still new to the country. Please, we want you to call us. You know, we will get interpreters. We need you to call us, to contact us or something, because this is how we're going to collectively survive. And that's how it's always, it has to be. And we gotta be there for each other. So, but it's scary. It's not gonna stop anytime soon. We're doing our best to try and stop it.
I just want to add one point, and not looking at this from a law enforcement background, but what always is the saddest part, and again, it's happening with this case, you hear a day, 2 days after, that they knew that this gentleman had gone to
Exactly right. The September 11, 2001 incident, I think brought this thing to reality. And there were incidents before that. Didn't just start September 11th, but September 11th, you know, when the planes crashed into the World Trade Center in Pennsylvania and in the Pentagon, I think it brought the world to understand that this issue is real. It's an everyday problem. Understand what they want. These sick individuals, these terrorists, they want you to feel uncomfortable. They want you to be scared. We can't be scared. We got to continue to live our lives each and every day in a peaceful, safe way. The police here in Bergen County, New Jersey, all across America, do a great job of networking together with our federal officials, FBI, and so forth. And I can tell you that, you know, the problem is that if somebody, anybody here, I don't know how many terrorists here, but if somebody here would like to kill themselves, it's easy for you to strap a bomb on you and walk into a church like a you mentioned soft target, hard target. Hard target would be something like the White House, the hottest target in the world. You're not going to be able to strap a bomb and get anywhere near the White House. But if you strap a bomb and go into your local church, or you walk into this restaurant, or you walk over to George Washington Bridge, you can certainly do it because we can't pat everybody down, we can't prune everybody through magnetometers and use sonograms on everybody when you walk past each other, but we do our best to follow up on tips, to follow up on information, and I can tell you that the police officers and your government are your people between you and chaos, and that's why we have structured communities, structured governments, and law enforcement officers to protect you. So thank you very much, girls. Daddy, you brought up some. I work very close together to do what needs to be done to network across one another and bring you government officials and police officers and police chiefs. And I want to commend Daniel for what he does and each and every one of you for being part of this organization and supporting it. Daniel?
I'm glad to see you, everybody. Thank you for attending tonight. Especially, I want to thank you for special guest, Riverhead Mayor and Chief, and Tenafly Chief, and also Saddlebrook Chief, my best friend, Chief Kugler. Really appreciate for your attendance tonight, and thank you for concern and support for our organization. Last time, as I told you about, our organization, final mission is to support and encourage and develop for our younger generation, and that maybe is through our organization and second generation. For the second generation, support for law enforcement field and federal and state and local, and also we're gonna make a good relationship with each other town and police department, and young generation. I think the younger generation got a big challenge and encourage it tonight, and I really appreciate everybody support tonight and attendance. 오늘 우리 학생들 정말 너무 수고 많았고요. 감사하고 다음 달에는 이제 우리가 그레듀에이션 세레머니를 합니다. 그래서 여러분들 다 참여해 주시고 다음 달에는 이제 버겐 카운티 프로스큐터하고 이제 FBI나 또 메이어 앤 칩 인바이트 할 거고요. 여러분들 그 리포트 다 내주시고 만약에 다 완성이 안 되신 분들은 익스큐즈를 해서 좀 늦게라도 이렇게 내시면 여러분들 다 반영할 거고 이제 프레지던셜 어워드를 다음 달에 할 겁니다. 그리고 다음 달에는 이제 새로 오리엔테이션하고 같이 해서 새로 할 학생들도 같이 이제 참여해서 할 거고요. 우리 이사님들 그리고 또 부모님들 이렇게 관심을 갖고 찾아주셔서 너무 감사합니다. 정말 너무 좋은 자리인데 많은 분들이 몰라서 이렇게 참석을 못하고 조촐한 것 같아서 좀 너무 안타깝지만 여러분들의 이 계기를 통해서 많은 사람들이 앞으로 관심을 갖고 이 모임을 통해서 이제 every month 우리가 할 거예요. 모임을 통해서 우리 2세들을 키워내는데 디딤돌이 되는 우리 단체가 되겠습니다. 여러분 감사드리고요. 다음 달에 6월 22일 날 여러분 많이 참석해 주시기 바랍니다. 우리 감사의 박수 한번 다 자축의 박수 하겠습니다. 감사합니다. 끝나시고 우리 이사님들 잠깐 좀 미팅을 좀 하겠습니다. Done.
I wasn't following that Korean language there. Thank you, Daniel. We're going to wrap this up. I want to give the mayor the opportunity to do the closing message, but I want to say this, and that is, I can speak for all of them, although they'll can and spoke for themselves already, but we're here because we want the same thing you do. You want to be welcomed. You want to be able to live a life free and happy in your community and either raise a family, run a business, or both. And we want the same thing. I can tell you that. We want the same thing. We wouldn't be here tonight. We wouldn't come to the meeting and do what we do and say what we say to you because it is so important to us, especially as a mayor. You need to vote for him next time he runs. But the police department as well. Police chiefs like myself, my colleague chiefs that are here, we welcome you. We don't take sides. We don't like Chinese over Korean, whites over blacks. That's not what we're about. Government and free societies are not about that. That's what America is built on. It's who we are. So I can tell you that it warms my heart to be here, to be in front of all of you and to network. And you may not remember my name, but I'm a police chief in Southbrook, so I want you to know that you could always reach out and ask and seek my assistance, input, or anything I can do to help you. And certainly invite me back for more kimchi. I would certainly appreciate that. But anyway, I'll give it to the mayor to wrap up, and thank you very much and good evening.
Thank you again, Chief, and thank you, Mr. Song, again for inviting me. It's been a very enjoyable meeting, listening how the insightful presentations by these young students here. It's always heartening to hear young people who can put together a presentation like that and show that they put the time and the effort and, like I said, give us insight into how younger people are thinking today, and I think that's very important. I think, again, the message is, as much as you want to be welcome to the community, we want to welcome you also. I say it all the time, whether it's in River Red or anybody else, that the police forces in every town are the backbone of every community, and every officer, without exception, will go out of their way to help you, and all you have to do is ask. They may not always be approachable, or you may not feel comfortable approaching them, but they will always respond to you. Same with me as the mayor or any of our council people, the police chief. If you have school groups or scout groups or any other organizations, if you want us to come and meet with you, we'll certainly be glad to do that. And again, organizations like this are fantastic for building these relationships. So again, thank you again for inviting me. I'm glad I was able to attend. And Chief, I'd come back again for some more bibimbap or gang or anything else. Thank you.
Once again, good evening, everybody. Stay as long as you like. We may be here to enjoy some fruit, but we have this great, big, long Memorial Day weekend coming up. Hopefully it'll dry out for us and we'll enjoy ourselves, but have fun on your parade or whatever you do for Memorial Day. And just know that the governments and law enforcement here in Bergen County are with you 100%. Thank you very much. Good night, everybody.